Hello everyone. So welcome to Well Explained Pedia. So today we will do the chapter number 2 of class 9 civics, that is constitutional design. Okay. So I hope you are with your books and you know the contents. Okay. So let's start. So in the starting you will go through what is constitution, and then example of South Africa is taken where the practice of apartheid was prevalent. We will study what was apartheid also. Okay. And then the time in which Indian constitution was made is also discussed, and the key features are also discussed. So this is the basic overview of the contents of your chapter. Okay. So what is a constitution? Okay. So constitution is something, it is like a basic rule and everyone has to follow. Everyone means the citizens as well as the government. Whoever lives in a country has to follow. So citizens will follow, and similarly government is in power. Citizens don't have power as such. Citizens have fundamental rights, but citizens don't have power. But government has power. So government can misuse the power. So to check that misuse of power, government has to follow the constitution also. So basically you can say that constitution is the supreme law of the country. Nobody is above law. You must have heard this thing, nobody is above law or nobody is above the constitution, which means that everyone will be treated equally in front of law. Okay. And what does constitution determine? It determines the right of citizens and the power of the government and how the government should function. I talked about this just now. Okay. So moving forward, so let's start with South Africa. So in South Africa there was struggle against apartheid. What is apartheid? It is a kind of racism. So in South Africa it is known as apartheid. Okay. So racism is a broad term, apartheid is a narrow term. Okay. So what is racism? Racism means whites, blacks or mongoloids like in China. If you know, if you have read the news, then you must have read that in Delhi there is discrimination against people from the northeast, right? They used a certain word which should not be used, and that's why I will also not use it. So they use a certain word for the northeast people. So this is also like racism. They are calling them by a name which should not be used. So all this is racism. So in South Africa blacks were like discriminated. They were given many disadvantages. Okay. So it is written on the basis of race, skin color. Okay. So what skin color? Whites have white skin color like the people in Europe or the Americas, and then people of Africa or some people even in India, South India, they are black color. Okay. Then Mongoloids are yellow colored people. They call yellow colored. Okay. So see, this is a stupid differentiation just to put people under discrimination. Okay. So this is nothing, and that's what we will study. Okay. That's what we will study about racism, right? Racism should not be there. Now main feature you all have to read. I will go through it quickly. It was oppressive for blacks obviously, and then they were forbidden from living in white areas, means their area of living was separate. White lived somewhere else, black lived somewhere else. Now they can work in the white areas only if they had permit, that is black people. Then they had separate school, universities, shopping centers, everything was separate. Okay. Marriage was also criminal, white and black marriage. Okay. And there was movement restriction also, and they also had no vote. This is a very big discrimination. You are not giving them vote, you are not giving them the power to choose their government. That is very bad. So this is the discrimination I am talking about. So basically all the basic human rights like education, voting, right to good food, right to good life, everything was denied. So this is known as discrimination. So this is a newspaper, The Guardian, and it has printed this photo of that time only. So it is written taxi rank for whites, means taxis were also for whites only in a certain place. So how did apartheid end? So just like in India, you know, Congress party was formed and it started an independence movement. by which Britishers went away. They have to leave the country. So similarly in South Africa also in 1910 African National Congress was formed. Now you will tell me when was Congress formed in India. That is your homework and you have to tell me in the comment section. Okay, so their target was non-racial democratic South Africa. Non-racial means no difference between races, any race can come. Then in the 1950 movement intensified, and in the 1960s the African National Congress was banned. See, you can learn this by comparing it with India. So in India also many Congress leaders were jailed, like Gandhiji went to jail 2-3 times, even Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Jawaharlal Nehru, many freedom fighters went to jail. So similarly in Africa also occurred, African National Congress, the people also went to jail and the Congress was also banned. Okay, see, now when India got independence there was no UN, United Nations, but when South Africa was fighting the war against discrimination, United Nations was there. So United Nations in this context is an effective organization and it condemned the policy of South Africa of racism. Okay, and by the end of 1980s international isolation of the government of South Africa was complete. So how international isolation? You must know that before 1990s there was no South Africa cricket team. I mean it was there earlier, but then for some years it was banned from playing cricket also. So international isolation means that you are banning a particular country from participating in international events, whether it is related to economy or culture or sports, whatever. So the people or the viewers who are interested in cricket will be knowing that before 1990 South Africa didn't play World Cup. They played in the 70s but not in the 80s. So that's why, because they were banned. Okay, so after this end of apartheid began, ban on Congress was lifted, leaders released, and the negotiation started between government and Congress. Government means in South Africa the white government which was there means the Britishers. Okay, then in 94 elections were held and the Congress won the power, the majority, just like in India in 1951 the first elections. Indian National Congress under Jawaharlal Nehru, they won the election. So you can relate this with South Africa, and this is a very good way of learning. And in 94 the flag was unfurled. So this is South Africa flag. What does this tell you? See, it is very easy. It has got many colors like blue, red, green, yellow, black, white. So many colors. You might not have seen so many colors in any other flag. So this shows the flags signifies that all the color of people are same and together. So this is signaling an end to racism. Now moving forward, okay, the party that ruled through the oppression and the party that led the freedom struggle means the Britishers and the African National Congress sat together to draw the constitution. Okay, and it wanted to give extensive rights. Okay, so this is the first president, Nelson Mandela. He was in jail for 18 or 20 years. Okay, not 18, 20, 28 years in jail. So this is a very long time he was in jail. He was a member of African National Congress, a big leader, and just when the Congress was banned and leaders jailed, so Nelson Mandela was also jailed. He was like Gandhiji of South Africa. Here it is written. So you can now compare. You will know why I am trying to compare India with Africa, because many things are similar. Okay, so apartheid ended and he became the president. Okay, so this is again written completely isolated from the world. I told you international isolation, and to remove this isolation, like to convince the international community of their work, so the Britishers released Nelson Mandela in 1990. Okay, so now we have talked about South Africa. Now the question arises, why do we need a constitution? So in the very first slide I told you why do we need a constitution. We need a constitution to recognize the rights of the citizens and to know how the government of the day will function. how will government of the day will derive its powers? Okay, so all the powers have to be written, otherwise it will become a dictatorship, which is not a hallmark of a democracy. Okay, so it is written, it is a set of written rules that are accepted by all the people. All the people means all religion, all caste, all race, all genders, everything. Okay, and it is the supreme law. We have talked about it. And then what does it do? What does constitution do? It generates trust among different communities and specifies how government will be constituted. Now why is trust important? Because India has got many religions, like 6-7 religions we have. Okay, then so many castes, so many regions, so regionalism is also there. So constitution has to create trust among all these people, then only as this government says sabka saath sabka vikas, that will be possible only after that. And in the first slide I told you that constitution put limits on state power, otherwise it would turn into dictatorship. Okay, now what is the reality? Reality is that a country having constitution doesn't mean it's democratic. How? North Korea has a constitution, but we know Kim Jong-un, okay, he's a dictator. And on the other hand, we have got democratic countries like India, USA and UK, which have got a constitution also. So what I am saying, that it is not necessary that a country having constitution will be democratic, but all countries that are democratic have constitution. This is the difference. Okay, now how did constitution evolve globally? Firstly UK gave themselves a constitution. Then when USA got independence from Great Britain, they drew a constitution for themselves. Then after the French Revolution, they drew a constitution for themselves. So like that, constitutions were made in the world. Okay, so why do we need a constitution? I told you, generates trust, coordination, how a government should be constituted, limits on the power. So we have read all about this. Now the main part, making of the Indian constitution, then the circumstances also. Okay, so making constitution was not easy. Why not easy? Just like I told you, many region, okay, and then many castes. So सबका ख्याल रखना पड़ता है, सबका साथ सबका विकास. So the needs and desires of everyone had to be taken care of. So thereby making constitution was not easy. Okay, also there was partition, India and Pakistan and East Pakistan. So that turmoil was also occurring, and around 10 lakh people on the both sides were killed. So this was also a concern. Okay, so now this map is very good map, and you will understand how the integration of princely states was done. So the blue part is princely states, which were given 3 options: either join Pakistan, join India, or stay independent. That's what it's written here. Okay, so the yellow part was British India, which was transferred to India, but blue part को मनाना जरूरी था, which was done by Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. You know Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Iron Man of India and the first Home Minister of India, and he is the person who banned RSS. So this is not a important point, but just to increase your information, I told you. So princely states had to be integrated, and all were ready to be integrated with India, except for Hyderabad, Kashmir and Junagadh. So this is not the topic of debate, so I just told you. So Patel, with all his wise powers, got these 3 also integrated into India. So let's move on. So Indian constitution is majorly based on Government of India Act of 1935, and also it draws many features from other constitutions like British, Ireland, USA, Canada, Japan, South Africa, Germany, France, USSR and Australia. So you will read all these features. I'm not going to talk about this, but if you're interested, you can pause the video and read about this, because there is no point making you understand, because this is not in your syllabus. Okay, so these are few of the members of the Constituent Assembly. They are mainly the members of the committees, like Mr. B.R. Ambedkar, the member or the chairman of the drafting committee, and we have got Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan and many other eminent personalities. So the path to the constitution was not very easy, as I told you earlier, and it was like a struggle against the foreign rule. So while we were having our Indian national movement, our freedom struggle, so much of the constitution was developed during that time also, which we'll read further. Okay, now some things made our work easier, like the familiarity with the colonial rule helped develop an agreement over the institutional design, means how it will work. Like we had civil services earlier also, so the familiarity helped us recognize that we will need civil services even after independence. So these are few of the things that helped us. Similarly, I told you major of the constitution is on the basis of 1935 Act, which was drawn up by the Britishers. Okay. The path to the constitution, as I told you earlier, French Revolution and the USA Revolution were also helpful, like the Bill of Rights of the US were incorporated into India as fundamental rights. And the French Revolution was based on the three principles of liberty, equality and fraternity, which are found in the preamble of India also, which I will talk about in further slides and I will explain to you also. So I told you that during the freedom struggle, many of the features were developed, like Motilal Nehru, the father of Jawaharlal Nehru, drafted a proposal for dominion status in 1928. This was after Simon Commission report came. So the Britishers gave India a chance to develop briefly their own constitution, just to see if the Indians are prepared to develop their own constitution. So Motilal Nehru gave 10 points in regarding that, and also during the Karachi session, outlines of Indian constitution were made, like National Economic Program. You have to remember this National Economic Program, which was implemented after independence, was made in the Karachi session, and also DPSP. What is DPSP? DPSP is Directive Principle of State Policy. It is in our constitution after fundamental rights. That is part 4. And what does DPSP say? It is a set of directives to the states which the state should follow while formulating the laws. So it is not enforceable as such, like you cannot go to court if DPSP are not followed, but still they are fundamental in the formulation of legislations. Okay. So these are another few eminent personalities: Motilal Nehru, B.R. Ambedkar, Rajendra Prasad. He was the president of the Constituent Assembly and the first president of independent India. And also Sarojini Naidu, she was also the member of Constituent Assembly and a leading female figure of that time. Okay. So the Constitution of India was made under the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946. The Cabinet Mission Plan came after the end of World War II, and the Constitution was made under this. And at that time, the Assembly was consisting of 389 members. But we will read further that these members were reduced to 299. You know how? I know how, and I will tell you how. Because of the partition. Because of partition, many of the seats went to Pakistan and East Pakistan. So we were reduced to 299 members. Just like it is written here, the Constituent Assembly was also divided into India and Pakistan. The first meeting was held on 6 December 1946. These are the basic factual things. If you want to remember, you can remember it, but it is not that important. Then after the first meeting, the last meeting occurred on 26 November 1949, and on this day, the Constitution was adopted. But then why Republic Day on 26 January? I will tell you. In the Lahore session of Congress, on the banks of Ravi, Purna Swaraj resolution was adopted, I think in 1929. And in this Purna Swaraj resolution, it was accepted that now we will take full independence. So due to this historic significance, January 26 is the day Republic Day is celebrated, and the Constitution was enforced on January 26. But on November 26th, few provisions like citizenship, which were important at that time, were implemented. Okay. So why should we accept the Constitution more than 69 years earlier? Means why don't we change the Constitution with time? Because many countries have changed their Constitution, and in many countries it exists as a mere piece of paper, means nobody follows it. but our experience is different. You know why? Because our constitution is the bulkiest constitution and the longest constitution in the world. Therefore, it amalgamates, it integrates the aspirations of the different sections of the society, and it is so exhaustive that there is no need to change the constitution. We have got a constitution accepted by everyone in each and every time, and even if there is some need be there, then we have gone through amendments. We will talk about this further. Okay, so the Constituent Assembly was elected mainly by members of the provincial legislature. Means just like we have got MLAs right now in the states, so that time they were provincial legislatures, so the members of assembly were elected by these people only. Okay, and everyone was represented, systematic, open. Okay, then a drafting committee, B.R. Ambedkar, I talked to you about this, so you have to read this about yourself. There is not much to explain. Okay, more than 2000 amendments were considered in the earlier proposal, and these are known as Constituent Assembly debates, and these are very important. The court uses these debates to go into the minds of our constituent framers, that why did they use the provision, why did they put any provision, why did they put any article, and that debate is used to interpret and give judgments by courts. Okay, so this is the significance of Constituent Assembly debates. Okay, now till date 104 amendments have been made in the constitution. You can remember this is an important point. Okay, now there are 3 amendments. You have to read this by yourself. First is simple majority. Simple majority means all the present and voting. Means if there are 100 people, then 51 is simple majority. Now special majority is also there, which is 2/3 majority of the house present and voting. 2/3 majority means, suppose if there are 100 members, then more than 66 people have to vote, then it is special majority. And then there is a third category. In this, special majority is also needed, plus 50% of the state legislatures should also approve it. Means if we are having 29 states, then 15 states have to approve it. So this is the most difficult amendment. Okay, so now this is the preamble. You have to read the preamble by yourself. I will take the main important words which are important for our democracy and are the basic structure of the constitution. You will read about the basic structure in your higher classes. So basic structure is something which cannot be altered by the legislature or the executive. Means लोक सभा, राज्यसभा और लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली कोई भी ये बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर नहीं चेंज कर सकता. दैट इज द थिंग. सो दीज all words are part of basic structure. Okay, so I will quickly read the preamble. We the people of India means we all of us have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all of its citizens justice. जस्टिस कैसे जस्टिस? सोशल, इकोनॉमिक एंड पॉलिटिकल. 3 टाइप के जस्टिस होते हैं. लिबर्टी ऑफ थॉट, एक्सप्रेशन, बिलीफ, फेथ, वर्शिप. इक्वालिटी ऑफ स्टेटस की इक्वालिटी भी और अपॉर्चुनिटी की इक्वालिटी भी. ओके, एंड टू प्रमोट अमंग देम ऑल फ्रेटर्निटी, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. Okay, and then they have put the date, that is 26th day of November 1949, hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this constitution. So it was adopted in November but enforced in January. You have to remember this. So what is secular? Secular means all religions are equal. State will not give preference to any religion. Okay, so in this it is shown 6 major religions of India. Now democratic means democracy means rule by the people. Okay, and democratic means where a government is chosen by the people. So voting is not a fundamental right. Voting is a constitutional right which has to be exercised, which must be exercised by every eligible citizen or voter. Now justice is, justice. What is justice? Courts do justice. So that is the meaning of justice. And liberal values are, what is liberal? Liberal means deriving through some values like democracy, freedom and truth. Freedom means freedom to do anything, but you should make sure that that freedom does not transgresses into the life of other people. So you are free to choose your profession, you are free to choose your partner, you are free to choose your life, you are free to choose your streams in schools. साइंस लेना है, मैथ्स लेना है, आर्ट्स लेना है, कॉमर्स लेना है, सो फ्रीडम है, लिबरल वैल्यूज. सो and then united we stand. We are different people from different caste, community, religion, culture, region, but united we stand. So that is also an important aspect. And equality, very big thing to a conservative. Equality means everyone having same size of this box, and to a liberal it means that if you have less capability then you will get two boxes. What does this mean? There is a popular saying that if you tell a fish to fly, then it will all its life try to foolishly fly, but if you tell its powers, then it will apply those powers. This means if somebody is disadvantaged, the state should give special provision for them. That's why reservations are there. Okay, so this is what means equality, or rather I should say equity. Okay, so that's all for today. If you had any problem in understanding the chapter, please write in the comment section and I will try to explain it to you, and then I will come with the third chapter of your civics. Till then, keep watching, keep learning. Thank you.